I'm Rex Rogosh, and let's queer up the worldview. Gay German MP John Spahn resigns after becoming father via U.S. surrogacy. John Spahn, an openly gay parliamentary leader of Germany's ruling conservative bloc, has resigned after becoming a father through surrogacy in the United States. This move has sparked political controversy. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz requested Spahn's resignation after Spahn announced that he and his husband, Daniel Funke, had welcomed a son. Surrogacy is banned in Germany, and Spahn's Christian Democrats Party opposes legalizing the practice. Spahn had previously defended that position. In 2015, he wrote, quote, "As a gay man and a Christian, I find it personally very hard to warm to the idea of rented womb," end quote. In a statement announcing his resignation, Spahn said, quote, "In recent days, I have come to realize that my personal happiness is starting a family with my husband, and becoming a father is incompatible with my political office," end quote. It remains unclear whether Spahn will also resign from Germany's parliament or continue serving as an independent lawmaker. Rented womb? Okay, look. If you understand what surrogacy is about, you're not forcing a woman to carry your child. It is a contract. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of things that have to happen for that to become a baby. Whether it's you do it the standard way, or you do in vitro, or whatever it is. So you're not renting the womb. That's just ridiculous. But then all of a sudden, you're renting a womb, you got a son, and now you're like, oh, well, I can't. It's really hard for me because people are peopling these days. Like the hypocrisy behind everything. I talk about, like our wonderful government system where, we had spoken about it. A Republican lawmaker was on a hospital bed and her doctor basically was like, well, the new rules say I can't do this certain surgery. She's like, well, let me call the governor. No. You created the rules. So now we're seeing it again. I don't support surrogacy, but I'm going to go do it in the United States where they do, and then I'm going to come back and become a father and not help everybody else who wants to do it. Because surrogacy is not just about having kids, people. Surrogacy is, kind of a life force. There's a lot of places that, people aren't having kids nowadays, and we're seeing an elderly population and not a lot of youth going in there. Yeah. And then there are people who want to have kids who physically can't. So, think about long-term population here.
Well, I think, surrogacy is one of those policy issues that you have all sorts of weird perspectives on the left and the right on this one, because sometimes there are people that are some ladies are more than happy to be a surrogate mother. Everything, it's a chill, beautiful experience.
Right.
Then there are other horror stories of how people mistreat the mother doing the surrogacy and all these other issues. And I can understand why a country like Germany, which is part of this big thing with the EU, where you do have people in poorer countries that are part of the EU, and there might be a fear of Germans with money doing awfully exploitive things to people from other countries to come in and do that surrogacy. So I could see why Germany hasn't currently done it yet. That doesn't mean that they should always ban it, but with this particular politician, it's yeah, what a hypocrite. What a hypocrite. Just adopt at that point.
I mean, there's always horrible things that happen in any situation. Just regular pregnancy, people getting pregnant by horrible reasons, and now they can't take care of that because it's against the law. People being trafficked, people bought and sold, okay? Babies being trafficked. I can't even say, I'm so irritated. I can't even say the words. So the argument that, there's bad, things happening to people, so let's not do it, is not a sound argument. It would not hold up in a court of law. Sorry.
Yeah, it should be a basic human right. It just seems so archaic. I mean, we just talked about Poland. Now we're talking about Germany. And once these countries, once we're much more progressive, and to see the decline is very unfortunate.
Germany wasn't progressive at one point, dear. Yes. We can hassle them for that for decades.
I mean, look, if I want to pay a woman to have my child and it's a legal contract, sure, let me do it. Well, make sure that it's done ethically and through the medical
Well,
system.
one would wonder too, and I didn't get a chance to research it, but then what is their stance on sperm donation or eggs, fertilized eggs, and donating eggs?
Well, so before I say anything, I actually have no strong opinion on this, which is very unlike me. But the people that tend to have a problem with surrogacy, it's issues like, let's say you start getting pregnant and it's not going well, so you want to terminate the pregnancy. There's all sorts of financial and legal issues with that, and that's why people tend to get a little nervous about surrogacy.
That's what contracts are for.
Yeah, but she signed a contract, but she didn't anticipate that the pregnancy might be the sort of complication that maybe it's safer to have an abortion, and then the people that wanted the baby sue and say, well, that's what you agreed to. Like, well, she didn't.
Again, that's what the contract's for. You put all that in the contract.
Well, sure.
Period.
Contractual.
It's a contractual obligation.
Well, there's all sorts of things that we've done contracts for, but then when we realize maybe we shouldn't do contracts with that sort of stuff anymore, and so it's worth having the discussion. I'm not saying we should ban surrogacy.
Right.
I'm just saying that the people that have problems with surrogacy, they're not all lunatics. Probably a bunch of them are, but not all of them is what I'm saying.
I mean, if you're also then going to start quoting scripture, I mean, all I'm going to say is the Virgin Mary. She was technically a surrogate.
Ooh, girl.
There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.
That was